We continue on this Tuesday. We're live at Social Taco here in Homewood next to City Hall in the Square. Landrum, Pat, and Conrad hanging out. Molly anchoring things from the studios of Jocks as the doors are opening right now. Mix and match tacos. Don't forget about the quesadillas, the Mexican pizzas, and all the wonderful things that they have to offer here at Social Tacos. SocialTaco.bar. For more information. Very pleased, honored to introduce our next guest. He's the newest head football coach of the UAB Blazers and a guy that know quite well in his time as the offensive coordinator in the past few seasons and getting to travel with him and be around him. Coach Alex Mortensen joining us here on Three Man Front on the Higginbotham Hotline. Mort, how are you?
Doing well. I'm excited to be on with you guys today. I would be doing better if I had known you were at Social Taco. I would have just said, "Can I just come over there and do this with you live?" But no, I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
Mort, we've got a seat for you. I know that I could probably procure you some milk since I know that you're a milk connoisseur like I am. So for people who are wondering, if you want to peek behind the curtain of Alex Mortensen, we were on a road trip. I think it might have been the Tulsa game that we're there at the hotel, and I'm there in the commissary late. Coach Alex Mortensen comes down, and he says, "Hey, do you know where I can find some milk?" He wanted a glass of milk before bed. Do you do that typically? Is that just night before a game, or is that a customary thing every night, Coach?
That is not an every night thing, but I go through stretches and phases, and I was wanted a little milk.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with milk. I appreciate it, Coach. Lots to get into with your team. There's a lot that's transpired since the end of last season, and you being named. Just kind of start there. After Mark Ingram, the UAB folks get with you and let you know that you're going to be the man to lead this program in the future.
Well, I mean, there's a lot has happened in the meantime. And one, really grateful to have an opportunity to be in the position and excited to be here. Love UAB, love Birmingham, love the people we'll get to work with every day. So being here is really very, very, very exciting for me personally. And then in regards to what has transpired, and I'll say this too, grateful to the administration, Dr. Watts, Mark Ingram, for them giving us this opportunity. Now, that being said, we've done a lot, and from then till now, started off really with recruiting. We had the transfer portal window, and that was pretty wild. And I think one of the challenges was we would like to sign more high school players in the future, but we kind of missed that December signing period, and so there weren't quite as many players out there, but we did sign some good ones. And then we went in the portal time period, which is a little bit of the wild, wild west. And it was only a 2-week period this year. And then from there, we went right into high school recruiting and working on some of it was recruiting this class, some of it was recruiting the next class. Finished, finalized the staff in the coming weeks after that. And now we really feel like we're just getting settled, and we're into spring football now. And we've had 6 practices, and we have a lot of work to do. We got a lot of things to get better at, but that's kind of where we're at currently.
Coach, you've been around this program for the last couple of years, and every single year we've seen the transformation of the transfer portal, but now you are the head man. You're the guy that is directing this program. How do you put your own stamp on who you want to get out of the transfer portal, because you're trying to build a certain type of culture there on the south side?
Well, let me say this. I mean, one, we do want to get the right kind of people here that have good intangible traits and good character. That's really important. When you talk about culture, it's a lot easier to create one when you have the right people in the program. So people that, have high character, do a good job off the field, but also are hardworking, are selfless, are tough, have all those kind of qualities, and do still care about the team and want to be a part of a team. And certainly we want people with ambitious personal and individual goals, but we want them to be able to get into that team idea. So those are some things we're looking for. Now, the challenge is finding those people, okay, because those are just kind of some of the personality characteristics, but then there's also the talent, and we're looking for, different things at each position, but we want talented football players and ideally football players that have proven collegiate production as well. So as you're looking for all that, man, you've got 2 weeks to figure that out a lot of the time, or at least this year, the window was only 2 weeks. So it's hard to do all that homework, whereas traditional recruiting, you had, maybe 12, 18 months runway to signing day with a player and their family and getting to know their high school coach. So doing that digging and figuring out what kind of person you have in that short of time period is a challenge. But those are some of the things we're looking for.
Coach, with there only being the one portal window now, I know it's your first year as a head coach, but can you kind of say or speak to how that's maybe changed things? Do you think it's helped? Do you think it's hurt? How has that made your job as a coach maybe either easier or more difficult, only having that one portal window to bring guys in?
I think like most things in life, I think there's trade-offs. But I think if you're talking about the positives, let's talk about the positives first. You kind of know your team is your team. And so now we can kind of start planning based on trying to develop the players we have and then also assessing their strengths and weaknesses so you can maybe start creating a direction a little quicker where you want to go schematically. And whereas, in the past, if you're not sure if you're going to have players, it's harder maybe to get to that identity quicker because you may lose them in May. Now, the negative of it, obviously, is that if you have deficiencies and weaknesses, you can't fix them in May now, or it's difficult to fix them. So you kind of have to, I don't want to use the word stuck, but you kind of have who you have. But I think I kind of like this more. Now, look, talk to me at the end of the year, and I may have a different answer, but I kind of like this because, I like the idea of that, hey, we can actually get these guys to I don't know, spend time together, get to know each other, create that bond connection that I do think is important in team sports. And then it also gives us an opportunity to develop them for a longer time period as opposed to them just showing up in May and now you got a couple months to lift weights and do some football with them and then now you're playing. So in a pretty short time period. So I like the idea of having a longer time period to develop a group.
Hanging out with UAB head football coach Alex Mortensen, joining us here on Three Man Front and joining us on the Higginbotham Hotline. When you took over last season in the interim role, Morton did a wonderful job in heading up that program and leading that team and that staff. How much of what you implemented from the point where you were named the interim, how much were you able to instill that was Alex Mortensen's way of doing things? Because I understand, taking over and trying to change a mindset in certain areas of a team or a staff that can be problematic during the season. How much were you able, though, to instill last year at that point versus what you've instilled now that you have your staff, your team, and you are the permanent head coach?
Well, I think when you step into an interim role, there's a fine line of, hey, are there things maybe you want to tweak or adjust? And then if you do that, if you think there are things that can help you, that's good, that's positive. But one thing, I actually talked to Coach Saban after I got the job, and I think it was in the second week, but he kind of suggested, look, players usually do well with routine. People usually do well with routine. So if you think there's things you want to tweak or adjust that you think will help, do it. But you don't want to turn things upside down overnight because that can actually create, more stress for everybody. And so we didn't, we made some subtle changes that we thought maybe would help us and give us an advantage in certain areas, but we didn't change everything significantly, when it comes to schedules and things of that nature. But now going forward, it's like, hey, there's things that we've done here that we really like, and there's things you're always looking to get better that, that we're changing. And this is kind of given, now there's the opportunity now to really try to implement all of that. And I think, too, when you have so many new players, you've got to kind of go back to the basics every year too. So I think it'll almost be like every season or every January, you really got to go back to ABC with your team. So I don't think that part will change.
Coach, we've been asking you a lot about the transfer portal, but it's also important to retain certain guys on your roster. And I know how big it was that Caleb Brown is coming back on the offense. Kind of talk about him and some of the guys on that offensive side of the ball. That was important for you to be able to run the type of offense you want to run at UAB.
Yeah, look, when it comes to the portal, there were some players that we wanted to keep that, we were able to keep. There were players that, we wanted to keep that we, were not able to keep. And so we went out and recruited other guys and replaced them. But when you talk about ones we wanted to keep that stayed, Caleb Brown is one of the first guys that comes to mind. Caleb is a really good player that I think last year just scratched the surface of who he can be. He's got, he's talking about Caleb's a receiver. Caleb is explosive. He's got really good acceleration and burst. He's got good strength, so he's a guy that you like him blocking, but you like him when he's got the ball in his hands because he can burst and run through tackles. He's got good balance at the point of contact, and then he's got exceptionally good hands, and he competes for the ball really well. He tracks the ball well, so he's one of these guys that can get open, but you can even throw it to him when he's not open, and he can compete for the ball. So we're really glad to have Caleb back. And then there's other guys on offense. Ryder Burton at quarterback, is a guy that, had some really good moments last year that is still developing and I think, has a chance to be a really good player. Nate Rogers is a quarterback behind him that is a really good young talented player we used in packages last year that we're fired up to keep. And, Adam Lepkowski, his teammates know him as A-Train, our center, is back. So we've got some good players back that we're really excited to have back. Jalen Elder is a good young player we think can develop. And then, we brought in, and I hate it because I know I've left some guys out, but then we've also brought in some guys that we're really excited about too. Some of these guys have good collegiate production, and we want to add to that, help them add to that. And then some of them are guys that, man, for whatever reason, it just hasn't happened for them where they've been at, but they've got a really high ceiling, and we think we can help them get there.
Coach, I wanted to ask you about a big addition to the coaching staff. You brought in Todd Grantham there to run the defense for you as the defensive coordinator, and you just look at his resume, spent a lot of time, numerous stops in the NFL, all around college football. He comes over from Oklahoma State at his last stop there. So what can you tell us about how fired up you are to have him leading the defense for you this year?
Really fired up to have Todd here. Todd and I worked together at Alabama in 2022, so we knew each other a little bit, and then I've had to coach against him a number of times. Whether he's at Mississippi State, Florida, and it's always been a challenge to have to play against him. And he's got a great reputation in the profession. Part of why I'm so excited to have him, one, before you even get to the X's and O's and the scheme, is, man, he brings a great intensity and energy to the program that is contagious. I think everyone feels that at practice. It certainly infects the defensive players, and then that in turn raises, the competition level. And now the offense has got to rise to match that. So that part, just his energy and intensity has been really good. And then the football part, Todd is really smart. He knows a lot of football. The defense is multiple, it's vast, it has a lot of adjustments, and he has the ability to be really aggressive. So, it's and again, just having to practice against it through 6 practices, it's definitely challenging for an offense to deal with because he presents a lot of multiples. And so, I'm really, really, really fired up to have Todd here.
What's the latest on the uniforms or any new helmets, any variations we could get more? This is what's most important, as I described to you a couple of weeks ago. If you look good, you play good.
That's right. Well, the uniforms, I mean, we have a good plan, I think, for this year. I mean, and I'll say this, one, we want to certainly use and feature the gold helmet. That's a big deal, and I think that's a big deal to a lot of fans. And then, and so I don't think you're going to see significant changes, uniform-wise. We're going to try to stay, within the confines of a lot of the traditions that, UAB has had here. And then from a school-wide perspective, there has been some rebranding. I think a lot of people know that, but some of that involves the UAB logo, our 2 big logos, UAB and Blaze, so we're obviously always going to feature those. And then there's been a little bit of a coloring rebrand too. So some of that will be reflected on the uniform. Some of it may not be. We might stay a little more traditional with what we're doing with what we've done in past years with the uniform. But I know the school, it's a big deal for all of us to have consistency with the hospital, the school, and our athletic programs from a branding standpoint. So we're going to try to obviously adhere to that, but yeah, you can certainly expect to see the gold helmets a good bit.
Any truth to the rumor you'll be wearing a sweater vest and a tie on the sideline this season?
No, unless I lose a bet, no.
He is Coach Alex Mortensen, head football coach of our UAB Blazers. Coach, we always appreciate it. So happy for you, and we'll be talking a lot here pretty soon. Know you're very busy.
Oh, thank you for having me on. Appreciate you guys.
Thanks, Mort. Alex Mortensen joining us here on 3-Man Front and joining us on the Higginbotham Hotline.
Your foundation waterproofing specialist is Deep South Construction Pros. Deep South is family-owned company with real southern roots. If you're dealing with foundation issues or if you have moisture problems, Deep South Construction Pros, they're the experts. Foundation repair and waterproofing, that's the backbone of what they do every single day. From cracks and wood damage to crawl space moisture and mold, their trained crews fix the problem at the source. The owners are proud Alabama locals who still call this place home, and they're committed to serving families across Alabama and Tennessee. You need to get started. Get started today. Simply go to their website, deepsouthconstructionpros.com. That's deepsouthconstructionpros.com. Your home, their commitment, because if it's your home, it matters to them. deepsouthconstructionpros.com.
Some of the big takeaways, what Alex Mortensen just told us, some other college football news and discussion as we continue live from Social Taco. We're here in the Terrace. Come and join us. It's a beautiful Tuesday here in the state of Alabama.
What a great conversation with Alex Mortensen, the brand new head football coach of the UAB Blazers. If you missed that interview or our earlier interview with Mike Griffith, you can always download the Three Man Front podcast. And, you know, you've been around more closely the last couple of years as the offensive coordinator for UAB, and you and I both were pulling for him to be able to get that job, and I thought it was a great hire. And you just heard the enthusiasm and not only what he does on a football field. A lot of people forget, after Trent Dilfer was fired, the very first game that Mortensen took the helm of the UAB football team was against Memphis, the 22nd-ranked Memphis Tigers.
Yeah.
and it was an impressive performance on what UAB was able to do to Memphis. And I think that kind of got the ball rolling to see that it was a different attitude. The players played differently for Coach Mortensen, and Mortensen's attitude towards the team and towards the rest of the season, I think that really parlayed that into a job for him.
Well, it's tough to describe the way that he leads unless that you watch it, but Mort is a guy that I think players, they certainly respect. Not that they didn't respect any other coaches that were there, but they respect. But the way that he leads, they know that he's going to hold them accountable, but he's not that get on your butt constantly type of guy. But it's effective the way he leads, and you see how guys respond. He mentioned Caleb Brown, and Caleb Brown is one of those guys that wasn't quite healthy at the beginning of last season, but originally he was at Ohio State. This is a guy who played at Ohio State, played at Iowa. He was a Big Ten guy. You see the potential and the flashes, but if he can be 110% ready to go, that guy could be deadly in American play this year.
No, there's no doubt about it. And you take a look at their schedule. They start off, you're going to be in Champaign-Urbana, a beautiful part of the world. Not really. But anyway, that will be the first game of the year for UAB, followed by home game against a good friend of ours, Coach Vincent.
Yep.
As La Monroe comes to town to protect him. And then you go on the road to Louisiana. You got Navy and Sanford back-to-back. That will be fun. Playing Coach,
That'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Coach Gross as we get ready for the Bulldogs coming over. And then you got to go to Memphis, Battle of the Bones. And then what's happening?
No, you said Battle of the Bones, and everybody started cheering.
Oh, yeah, they started cheering for UAB.
Yeah,
that's nice. But the point is, there's some really nice opportunities here in regards to the schedule and for UAB to make a significant impact in year one.
I'm excited about it, and just saying, I think UAB fans, you have a reason to be more optimistic than you have been in the last couple of seasons this time of year.
It certainly feels that. It feels different. It feels different.
I believe it will be different.
Well, I mean, you just go through. I mean, I'm looking at some of the guys they brought in through the portal, and we asked about Todd Grantham. They've got a couple of Oklahoma State guys coming with them. But, I mean, they've got Roderick Robertson. They got a Georgia running back. They got a Florida tight end. They've got guys from Colorado and Utah. Like, they've got guys from a wide receiver from Oklahoma. Like, they've got guys with big-time school and big-time pedigree coming to UAB, and it could be really special.
Well, and it says something because you realize how limited UAB is from a collective and NIL perspective. And there's a lot of schools like them at the non-Power 4 level. You realize that, but it also speaks to the coaching staff and having those conversations with veteran players that have been in other big places and being able to sell them on developing them as a player for the remainder of their career.
Well, and I if we had more time, I would love to ask him about this because, we talk a lot of the time about how these bigger, in Alabama or in Auburn, right, you question, well, do the guys really love the school or are they just here for the money? And I feel like that's a benefit you have at a place like UAB is a lot of those guys, they want to be a part of that program, right? Because maybe they could have gotten more money otherwhere or, other opportunities elsewhere, or they've been to those places and it didn't work out for them. And now you feel like, hey, they really want to be a part of this. This is where they can see themselves growing and making a big impact on the program. And I think that's something that's special about some of these smaller schools and the Group of Five.
A lot of positive vibes after 6 practices down on the south side as the Blazers and Alex Mortensen get ready to try to conclude their first ever spring practice with him at the helm. Speaking of spring football, the Auburn Tigers on the practice field today. This was practice number 7 for Auburn. And it was interesting. We were talking about it off the air, but they had an Iron Bowl session, part of practice, in which Alex Golish, they were playing Dixieland Delight.
I think
they're on the practice fields.
I think that's a smart idea.
So they have their own practice period for the Iron Bowl, and they pipe in the noise and they pipe in Dixieland Delight to get the players ready for that final game of the season.
It's very intimidating, Pat.
Is that what it is?
The song, yeah, very intimidating.
Yes.
But, I mean, in all seriousness, right, like that's kind of how the Iron Bowl goes when it's in Bryant-Denny. You feel really good that Alabama's going to probably win the game in Jordan-Hare. You feel a lot better about Auburn's chances, and then they're going to have to go to Bryant-Denny in his first year.
Well, not recently.
Not recently.
When I think about running through a brick wall or going into a Braveheart-like fight, I think about one arm on the wheel, just cruising down the road.
But imagine how big of a statement would that be in year one of Alex Golesh to go into Bryant-Denny and take down Alabama in the Iron Bowl? I don't think it's a bad idea to go ahead and start getting your mindset in that area.
I mean, we're going to have plenty of time this spring and summer months to talk about this upcoming season for Kalen DeBoer in Alabama. But like I was saying to Paul Feinbaum yesterday, there's a lot of different pitfalls on that schedule for Alabama, and I think it's going to come quite early on that schedule on September 12th.
You're a big fan of the Wildcats.
I'm not saying I'm a big fan of the Wildcats. It's just based on the way that this Alabama football team under Kalen DeBoer has prepared for road games. I think it's safe to say that you need to circle that game on September 12th because it's an early season game against Kentucky, because even in the years that Kentucky was not very good, when you play a team like that in the very beginning of the season, there's a lot of optimism. It's a new scheme. There's a lot of new things in that football game. I'm not proclaiming that Alabama's going to lose. I'm just saying you need to pay very close attention.
Is that a night game?
Don't know yet.
Well, and you're breaking in, whether you're still trying to figure it out or it's the second start for a quarterback, it's
Correct.
going to be their first SEC game as a starter. And that's
Vegas has
not going to be
Vegas
easy.
has Kentucky win total at 4.5. So Alabama should go up there and take care of business.
Well, they should have done that against Florida State in the season opener last year, Pat, and they lost by double digits. So.
Correct. So,
God,
be
Pat's
very
already making me
interesting.
nervous.
No, I'm not trying to make you nervous. I just having a nice conversation about Alabama football and the expectations.
And them losing to Kentucky, potentially. God, that would.
If you lose to Kentucky,
I don't want to. We don't need to go down that hypothetical road.
and knowing what you have
I know.
when you play Georgia.
There is no excuse not
Tennessee.
to be 5-0 when you meet Georgia.
I know. You're right.
I mean, that stretch of games, and I was talking to you about this morning, that stretch of games for Alabama where you play Georgia, go to Tennessee, then mixed in there you got a bye week, but you still have to play Texas A&M, LSU. Who else am I missing?
At Vandy.
And Vandy. That was the other one.
You're going to have to go 3-2 in that stretch if you want to make the playoffs. And that's assuming you don't slip up against a Kentucky or South Carolina, which has been, especially South Carolina, that's been a close one the last couple of years. And then
And don't forget
Auburn.
at the end of the
correct.
year. Yeah.
It's not easy in the SEC.
An Auburn team that's practicing for that game right now.
They're already ready.
Yeah, they're install right now.
Well,
Ready for Alabama.
they've got 11 games before that as well.
The cheerleaders are wearing the collegiate shirts that they customarily just break out for the Iron Bowl right now.
Yes.
We are live at Social Taco. Seats are getting hard to come by.
Well,
Burr
there's
is
a lot
here.
of,
We're
lot of
filling up
folks that are
nice.
here.
Yeah,
Yep.
Burr. I hadn't seen Burr in a while. Good to see him.
There's some
Jody,
new faces.
Yeah.
Jody from
Yeah.
Trussville, the painter to the stars. I told him to put that on his vehicle.
That's a good
Can he paint stars on your ceiling?
If you want, if you like.
Conrad would like that.
Yes, very much so.
I need the American flag painted on the side of my house, just so everyone knows
Howie
where
and
I stand.
Conrad, they were nestled up a few moments ago.
He could paint the stars on
sharing-
the mirror that's on your
sharing
ceiling.
things. What were y'all talking about?
Yeah, what? You two
don't-
have.
I mean, Lantrum was asking me. I'm not prying on these private conversations when you guys are talking about stuff.
You were very engaged.
It was something about he was asking me if Don gave him a counterfeit $20 bill.
Were swim trunks optional? Is that what he said?
We didn't get to that part yet.
Coming up in this next break.
They are required. But my deck still caved in and my pool's broke, so
What'd you do all weekend?
I cut
You
my
had
grass.
you had a whole weekend.
I cut my grass. I weed-eated it. I bought a leaf blower.
Did
That was
you?
my big boy purchase for the weekend.
Is that electric or gas or battery?
It's electric. Blows up to 280 miles per hour, Landrum. Don't you worry.
Oh,
It's real nice.
It's growing up right in front of our eyes.
Yeah. He told me that, and I can appreciate this as a first-time homeowner, but because I remember when I did it, you go and you do all that yard work, and then you just go and stand out there and just marvel at it.
That's what I told
And then
Landrum.
3 days later, you're so demoralized because it's all tall again.
I think on Saturday I went outside about 4 times in the afternoon and just stood out there and went, this is nice, isn't it? And like you said yesterday, I was out there going, man, I'm going to have to cut this weekend, aren't I?
Fun times.
Can't wait.
We will continue on. We are live here at Social Taco. Still a couple of seats remaining here on the Taco Terrace. So if you want to come join us for lunch, please do. We'll make room for you up here at Social Taco. This is Jock's 3-Man Front. It is 11:33. Welcome back in. This is three-man front on Jocks, Pat, Conrad, Landrum. We're live here at Social Taco. Molly will be joining us here in just a little bit as Conrad will head back up to the top of the radio station on top of Red Mountain, and Molly will make her way here to Social Taco, so you have an opportunity. Come join us. As, man, it's a great crowd. I know you were out there talking to a couple new listeners.
Yeah,
who,
Justin and Witt, two first-timers here at Social Taco. So they've been wanting to make the trip up here for a while now, and they finally did. They said they're having a great time, and they even, had to deal with Don, but other than that, they said it's a nice experience so far.
Very nice. You, too, can be part of the fun. Come on up and see us. We'll be here until 2 o'clock. As a homeowner or a business owner in Central Alabama, you need a roof that you can count on. With our weather going from cold weather to warm weather, then hot weather, then getting these storms, the heat and humidity, they can have a real effect on your home, especially your roof. So it takes a roofing company that truly understand what works here in the state of Alabama, and that's Abide Roofing. 205-577-7338. Abide Roofing offers free, no obligation roof inspections. Even if you don't see missing shingles, hidden damage can turn up in the most unexpected places on your roof. So it can become a big-time problem fast. So let the experts at Abide Roofing take care of that. And if there is damage that they find on top of your roof, Abide Roofing, they're the insurance claim masters. They help you navigate the process, and they make sure that you get the coverage you deserve. Abide has a earned reputation around the Birmingham area in which they're the very best in what they do, and you need to go. Get them. Call them. They'll come to your roof. They'll check it out. That's Abide Roofing, 205-577-7338, or simply go to their website, abideroof.com.
No, the fun never ends here. We got Roll Tide Rob bringing in a broom to celebrate the sweep of Auburn baseball for the Crimson Tide over the weekend. So that's the festivities continue here. I wanted to bring this up, though, because I know you brought up a mock draft yesterday that had Caden Proctor going to the Steelers, correct?
Yes.
And he was the only Alabama player in the first round. Well, this one I just saw came out from Ryan Wilson for CBS Sports, and he has two Alabama players going in the first round. And so I thought, but this is a scenario that I have not heard yet. So he has, first off the board would be Caden Proctor at number 17 to the Detroit Lions. I've seen that a couple places. I think Molly would certainly be happy if that was the selection there. But how about this? At pick number 32, the final pick of the first round, he would have the Pittsburgh Steelers making a trade with the Seahawks to select Ty Simpson and get that fifth-year option on a potential future quarterback. I just read it, Pat. I just read it.
So Seattle would trade
their first-round pick to the Steelers, and the Steelers would select Ty Simpson with the last pick of the first round. That's what the Ravens did with Lamar.
Yeah.
So he'll be the next Lamar Jackson, right, Pat?
Okay.
But it was also interesting because he also has the Steelers keeping their first-round pick at number 21. They would take Jordan Tyson, the receiver from Arizona State. So potentially they're a new receiver and quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I just hadn't seen the Steelers mentioned as a team that would trade up for Ty Simpson as opposed to taking him there at 21. But
is there any new buzz about Aaron Rodgers?
Yes, actually. I did see where let me pull that up real quick. I saw that just a minute ago. But it was Mike McCarthy. He was talking to the media, and he said basically that him and Aaron have been talking. Oh, it's while they're at the annual meetings. He said that him and Aaron have been talking every few days, and that they have maintained. Obviously, he was the head coach there in Green Bay with Aaron for a long time, and they've maintained that friendship and relationship, and they've talked regularly over the years. But he says every couple days checking in and having a conversation.
What does your gut tell you right now? Is he back as a Steeler?
If he comes back to play, yes, it would be as a Steeler.
But if not, he's retired?
Yes.
You think he's done?
Yes, that would be my belief. If I would think – all right, let's play with the scenario I just brought up from the CBS mock draft. The Steelers go and take Ty Simpson in the back half of the first round, or the last pick of the first round. I think in that scenario you bring back Aaron for 1 year. You let Ty learn from him, because that was one thing that I know a lot of people wouldn't expect. But when Aaron Rodgers was in Green Bay, and you remember they drafted Jordan Love, and everyone was shocked that they made that move, everything that Jordan Love has ever said was that Aaron Rodgers was a great mentor to him. He was very welcome. There was no, it wasn't a cold relationship of, oh, you're here to replace me, so I'm not going to help you. it was the exact opposite of that. And so I think based on that experience in Green Bay with Jordan Love, the Steelers would then be open to selecting somebody like Ty Simpson and bringing him in, whether it's late first round, early second round, and say, hey, Aaron's the guy for this year, and then we're going to hand you the reins after 1 year of sitting on the bench. And I think we all agree that for Ty Simpson, really any quarterback, that's the ideal scenario getting drafted in the NFL. You don't want to have to start right away if you don't have to. Get a chance to learn the game, get up to speed, learn the playbook, and then go gung-ho year 2.
It is interesting. Ian Rappaport from the NFL Network, he reported this morning that Bama QB Ty Simpson is one of the NFL Draft's top players at his position. He has scheduled top 30 visits with the Arizona Cardinals, Miami Dolphins, Cleveland Browns.
Ugh.
In addition, Simpson has had a private workout with the Jets. Any of those excite you?
Nope.
Cardinals, Dolphins, Browns, Jets.
Nope. Those would all be not great landing spots. But, I mean, I guess if you had to pick.
Of those, which one would better suit Ty Simpson?
Maybe Miami, just because they signed Malik Willis. So, again, you're not going to be expected to come in and be the guy right away. I think Cleveland, I mean, you've got the Browns coach now talking about how Deshaun Watson's probably going to be their starting quarterback this year.
After Shedeur changed his number to number 2?
Well, according to Mel Kiper, the Browns don't need to look at Ty Simpson because they have a better quarterback in Shedeur Sanders right now.
I agree with you. I think the Dolphins would be the place.
I would go Dolphins, Cardinals, Jets, and then Browns last probably.
Yeah,
because at least with the Jets, you got Garrett Wilson. Cardinals, you got Marvin Harrison. You've got McBride there, good safety net at tight end. And then the Dolphins, again, you'd have a little more leeway since they paid big money for Malik Willis.
Now you said that in that CBS mock draft, you said that Proctor was heading to Detroit. Is
yes,
that right?
At 17 overall.
Okay. And that's kind of been where he's been landing lately, in that 15, 16, 17, 18, that area?
Yeah, I've seen, well, let's see. We had the Steelers yesterday. I've seen the Lions a few times. Chargers, that's another big one. Again, those ones. Talk about the exact opposite situation that Ty is probably looking at in terms of all three of those organizations you're going to be in win now mode.
Yeah.
Wherever you land if you're in one of those spots. So that would be a nice thing for Caden Proctor. But, yeah, this is – I mean, here it says basically if they move Penei Sewell over to left tackle, then maybe they would go a different direction than Caden Proctor. But if Penei Sewell stays on right tackle, then Caden Proctor would be a great pick for the Lions there. So that'd be a good program or good organization to go be a part of right now.
Auburn basketball was in the news at the beginning of the show. If you're just now tuning in, head coach Stephen Pearl, he has announced the signing of the 7-foot French center, Narcisse Ngoy. He's going to join the Auburn men's basketball team for the 2026-27 season. Ngoy has been one of the most dominant players in the French Elite 2 League. He averages around 11 points per game, leads the league in rebounds per game with 11, blocks per game, almost 3, and efficiency per game at 21.2. He shoots 70% from the field. Ngoy has 3 of the top single-game rebounding performances this season with a league-high 21 boards, while also having 19 and 16 rebounds in a game, respectively. His season high in blocks was 6. And now you did a little research on the French league that he currently plays in.
Yeah, so the best comparison I could make was that I guess he essentially played in the French equivalent of the G League.
Okay.
It's the second tier of professional basketball there in France. So, but again, I mean, we've seen a lot of guys come over from overseas and have a lot of success, and it's happening more regularly now. And I would say that if there's one thing, if you're 7 feet tall, something that's going to translate is probably rebounding and blocking. I would think that those are 2 things you're not going to have to worry about with him, and that's a great pickup for Auburn. Unless imagine they get him and Olivier Rioux. You got a 7-footer and a 7'9" guy there in the front court for the Auburn Tigers.
And he's what, 7'9"?
Olivier, yes, 7'9".
He has the rumor this morning that he was going to enter the transfer portal next week, and he has already penned his letter of goodbye to the University of Florida.
I love these graphics that the kids get.
Yes.
Oh, it's a 2-pager?
Oh, it's a 2-pager. Well, one in his home uniform and one in his road blues.
Got a double dip there.
He finishes it by saying, "Until we meet again, thank you, merci."
Is that him saying he's going to be in the SEC because you'll see him again?
Maybe so.
I wonder. I will be very fascinated to see what kind of market he has, because again, from a size standpoint, it's very intriguing. But I mean, he's got to be limited physically, right? I mean, people aren't meant to be 7'9". I'm just saying, like that's.
They're just not meant to be.
They're
that
not.
big.
Am I the only one that's thinking that? Like that's crazy. But hey, if somebody can get the most out of him, it'll be a lot of fun to watch.
Well, the legitimate question is how many minutes can he
exactly
he really play for you?
That's not a guy that you're getting 25 minutes a night from.
No, I mean return of your investment. Like how much are you spending on a 7'9" guy?
Correct. That's why it'll be just very interesting to see what that market is and where he ultimately lands. And you know, he was a project there at Florida, and they took a chance on him. And I guess that would be the other element of it too. Is this more of a Florida saying, okay, we think we've taken you as far as we can. Now it's time for us to go in a different direction, or is this him going, I think I got a market for me out there. Let me go see what that cheddar looks like. So it'll be interesting to see. But certainly he will be. I can confidently say this, Pat, the biggest player in the portal.
Yeah, I think that's a safe bet for sure. We're live at Social Taco. Come on up and visit us and see us. Still a couple seats remaining here on the Taco Terrace. This is Three-Man Front on Jocks. It is 11:48. Welcome back in. We are live at Social Taco. You too can be part of the fun. Come on up and see us. We'll be here until 2 o'clock. If you missed our interviews earlier in the program, we talked to Mike Griffith from Dog Nation, AJC. Also the head football coach of the UAB Blazers, Alex Mortensen. A little programming note, coming up tomorrow at noon, we will talk to former Auburn head coach Terry Bowden. He will be a guest on this radio show tomorrow. Also, the Southern gentleman, Brett Norsworthy, will be on the program.
Oh, I can't wait for one question in particular with Brett.
Yep. Brett will talk about the new college football playoff additions to the selection committee. Also, Ole Miss spring camp is ongoing. So, Terry Bowden and Brett Norsworthy back-to-back.
What a day.
Doesn't get better than that.
2 Southern gentlemen.
No. Terry Bowden got a law degree. A lot of people don't know that.
Really?
Mhm.
Sure
I
does.
did not know that.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It's impressive.
It'll be good to catch up with old Terry Bowden tomorrow.
I'm going to ask him if he had remained the Auburn head coach, how many more AU words he could have used for his seasons. Awesome, audacious.
It was all. Was it audacity? Right?
Yeah, he had
that was 1 year.
He had audacity,
Attitude. 1 year?
attitude. Yeah, awesome.
So you're going to see how many of those you can fit in during the interview tomorrow? And
I
see
might
if he
do that.
notices?
Yeah.
Just see if he picks up on it?
Yeah, that'll be our subliminal
Yeah.
little challenge for me.
It'll be like what y'all did with Tom Hart that one time.
Yeah,
Just a little different.
and I'll throw out auspicious, and it'll trigger his mind,
It's a good one.
and he'll think, man, I should have used that one right before they fired me.
Yes, that's a good one.
I was in college when he got fired.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Were you hanging out with your pet snake?
For people who have never
That could mean two
heard
things.
the back history, no.
Your
it was
actual
not.
reptile that you owned.
Yes.
I'm glad you don't have that thing because something tells me it would end up in that box in a couple weeks.
So the jerseys
There's
that you
others.
showed me for the Braves,
Yeah.
they've already released a video, so that's legit.
Those are awesome.
The New City Connect Atlanta
Yeah.
jerseys.
Get you a Suarez in that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that.
Can you
The
let's-
white is hard to beat, but
So Dylan was over at the house on Sunday,
Mm-hmm.
and as both the kids are now, we're empty nesters, and as both kids are
please
gone.
tell me he told you he identifies as a Braves fan now.
No, he knows better now.
Are they Cardinals fans, your sons?
Mhm.
Okay.
Not to the level that.
Well, no one is to the level you
I
are.
mean, Pat's
am.
their dad. You don't think he threatened them at a very early age?
Well, I just didn't know if they.
They got tired of being the Cardinals their entire Little League life. From
Oh,
age
you were able
4.
to pick that?
Of course.
I forgot you ran the ballpark.
He drugged the infield. He umpired his own games.
Probably
Coached,
that.
He
ran the
probably
concession
did.
stand.
Now, see, Jody from Trustful, who's over here with Mary and Stan. He can tell you. I coached his son Matthew. Son Matthew was a good ball player for me. Anyway, so Connor's room has been redone.
Yeah.
Into a guest room. So
Yeah.
anytime you want a vacation in Trustful, you and Dorothy's got a room.
That would be great. Would you charge me the same rate that Mike Griffith charged you?
I won't charge you a housekeeping fee.
No. I'll take care of the yard while I'm there.
Yeah,
Stay 3 nights, you get one.
Not because I feel like I owe you. I really like doing yard stuff.
Yeah, well, come on. We'll welcome that.
You just want to use the zero turn.
No, I probably don't need to use the zero turn. I told you the last time I was on it, a guy had just gotten it, put it in his driveway. He's like, hey, hop on, try it out. And
didn't end well.
grace of God kept me from going through his garage door.
It'll take you a minute to get used to it. That's
Not
for sure.
kidding. It accelerated really, really fast.
So Connor's room is redone. Like there's no remnants
That he ever existed.
in that room.
Yeah.
And then meanwhile, Dylan's room is the next to be taken care of. And so Dylan was up in my office on Sunday. And so we go into his room, and I had redone some things in the closet. And just so happens, I have a lot of baseball stuff that I have converted up into that closet. And he noticed one of my Cardinal hats. And he was like, man, said, I can't find my Cardinal hat. And I'm like going, well, you want me to get you one? I'll order you one. I'll get you a brand new one. Fitted one. He wears the same size I do.
Uh-huh.
So I'm like, okay, cool. So since Sunday, cannot find the hat anywhere.
No way.
anywhere. And you think about it, you've got, with Major League Baseball season starting, and so many.
Which hat is this?
This is the red.
Standard?
The standard 5950 fitted hat. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Cannot find it anywhere.
It's probably in the same place my Yankees jersey is.
I mean, I'm saying, and when I say everywhere, I'm talking about lids, MLB, New Arizona website, like.
Oh, you're saying you're trying to buy a new one, you can't find one for sale.
Correct.
Is there a and I'm asking the serious.
And again, 7 3/8.
7 3/8.
What would have been the mad dash to buy up a bunch of Cardinals standard fitted hats? Is there a Korean team or a Japanese team that?
No, my feeling is, one, it's always one of the better selling just hats in general throughout the year.
It's a great looking hat.
But then the other issue is when you get to spring, and then let's say you're a little league dad and your team's the Cardinals. You know, you want to step up and you want to go get real gear and stuff like that because you want to look good. You might not play good, but you want to look good. But it just blew me away that, I could not. And then how much these hats have gone up.
I was about to say, look at it. It's $50.
Is he okay with it being previously worn?
It's $50.
Yeah, it's $50.
Yeah,
no, I'm not wearing something that's been previously worn. What is wrong with you?
I'm talking about your son.
No, he might not care, but I'm not getting him.
We'll get the sweat stains out of there.
But you could do 4 interest-free payments of $12.50.
We'll hit it with some Febreze.
Is there a 7 3/8?
Yeah. 7 3/8.
But is it a low profile or a high crown?
I don't know. Pat.
See, these are the things that you have to know when you're ordering a hat, Conrad.
They make poopery. They make shoepery. Do they make hatpery?
Low profile.
Looks good to me.
That's a high crown.
Okay, sorry.
He claims to be a baseball
That's
fan.
one of those that you buy at a Citgo station. Goodness gracious.
It's 100% polyester.
All right, 12 noon hours straight ahead. We will talk about the Missouri Tigers. What's at stake for them and Eli Drinkwitz coming up in 30.